Hey, what's up, guys? This is Christian Brindle. I'm back here with another video with somebody doing big time things in the insurance business. I'm here with someone who is a friend of mine, a friend of the channel. She's been on many times over the years. I'm here with Jolynn Allen. If you guys don't know her, you really should. She is going to be a speaker at this upcoming Seven Figure Medicare Agent Summit. She was at the event last year, took the stage, spoke. Um, and, you know, was really the most popular speaker. She ended up stealing the show in a lot of ways with her talk. And, um, man, I didn't even know how to describe you. Jolynn is an agency owner, of course, in Colorado. Um, she has a master's in economics, if I remember correctly. Um, she's a real estate investor. She's an overall incredible business mind, an entrepreneur. Um, and she is so knowledgeable about business structure and investing and so many different things in general. First off, Jolynn, thank you for being here today. Thanks for being on with me again. And how are you doing today?
Oh, I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Always, always. You're always welcome anytime. What I was kind of hoping we could kind of discuss on this video here today is to kind of give anybody that is thinking about coming to the event, or maybe they've already got their tickets and they're going to be there, a bit of a sneak peek on kind of what they can expect from you without giving all the goods away, of course, but just an idea of kind of what you plan on talking about at the event this year and kind of what they can look forward to.
Sure. So, obviously, one of the reasons I speak at Christian's event is because it focuses on hands on actual information for new agents to those that are a couple of years in. And there's a ton of people there that are going to speak about how to sell, how to recruit, how to generate leads. So, I don't really go into those topics. There's a lot of people that are qualified to give you that information. So, what I focus on is more the business side of building a business, starting as an agent, turning it into an agency, and taking the insurance agency and really building the empire around it. Because that's one of the best things the insurance world gives us is the opportunity to expand out into other markets and generate revenue in so many different ways. There's so many complementary businesses that come from owning an insurance agency. So what I'm really concerned with and focus on is why in our industry do 90% of agents fail in the first 5 years? And we always hover around that mark. When I started 16 years ago, it was 91% fail. And now it's 89% fail. We haven't made a lot of ground, even though there's access to information now that none of us that started 11 years ago, like Christian, or 16 years ago, like me,
Mm-hmm.
we didn't have those tools. There's all these new fancy things online and YouTube and all this information, yet we continue to fail at the same rate. And my opinion on that is that the insurance industry, it has a double-edged sword that tends to get a lot of us. We have a very low barrier to entry.
Mm-hmm.
It's super easy to come into this industry without a lot of planning or preparation or getting your finances scrutinized by a bank, like is required in the majority of the business world. And coming from someone who owns 23 businesses, this is the only one that doesn't require you to jump through hoops and do a year of pre-work. The insurance industry, I mean, I know people that have gotten their license and hit the ground running in less than 2 weeks without a lot of thought into the process of how this business is actually going to survive or be successful. So what I really focus on is setting this up as a business, not a hobby, not a job, actually legitimizing the business, being able to qualify for funding, keeping your personal finances separate from a business so that if this business does fail, it doesn't destroy you financially, keeping the liability separate from your personal. So in case you have a liability issue, they don't end up owning your home or
Yes.
putting a lien on your equity. So all of those things that really take us from maybe dabbling in insurance to actually being business owners in the world of insurance.
I love it. I love it. If I may, I just want to love on you a little bit on this on this. Like, I mean, we have a lot of people come on the channel, and every person we have on the channel, I have great respect for. There's not a ton of people we have on the channel that I've learned a ton from in my own business and have implemented, and you're one of those people. We were talking before we started recording about just how you've helped me in my own business structure, right, over the years since we've gotten to know each other. And the information you teach, I remember, your husband telling me, I think it was at last year's event, he was like, they don't teach what she teaches anywhere. And he's right. He's right. Like what you teach, you're not going to probably learn it at schools. You're not going to learn it at most universities. Like, you don't learn it from your upline. And if you're in the insurance business, like, it's because your upline doesn't know. I didn't know. Like, and there's still a ton of things that you're proficient in that I don't know, I just think what you teach in terms of being able to get the funding, structuring your business, protecting your liabilities is so invaluable, to agents and agency owners. So I just wanted to pump you up a little bit if I could, because you've helped me a lot in my own business, and I have great affection for you for that.
Well, and I'm glad you actually took the advice. I cannot tell you how many times I give the advice and it's not taken. And one thing about you, Christian, is you ran with it. You went and did everything we talked about. But you guys, and Christian and I actually sat down in Colorado and had this conversation with what he's going to do for his business. And we just kind of ran through a million topics. And here we are. It was a year and a half later. It's all been implemented. He did a great job of putting that in place to make sure that his business grew and was ready to expand, and all of the things that he's accomplished in the last year are set up correctly. So you're not going back and fixing it, but you're kind of the example of how a lot of us do it, where we add the structure and the protection as we've grown. A lot of agents don't really set it up front. What we tend to do is we're lucky to get the license in place, right? And then contracting. And we spend all of our early years focusing on product knowledge. And then we get the product knowledge part down. And a lot of people realize, well, hey, if I can sell better, if I can close more, I'll make more money. So then they focus on sales skills. And then once they get that down, they're like, I got product knowledge, I've got sales skills. They've usually built a book of business, and there's a triggering event that makes them want to legitimize the business. Either they're missing out on opportunities because they can't obtain financing, or they're wanting to bring on agents and they're having to legitimize the agency in order to get carrier contracts and start recruiting, or some things come up like they want to buy a building. So there's some sort of triggering event, and they realize that what they've built, they've made a ton of mistakes along the way. Things aren't structured properly. And now they can't get that financing because it's all in their name and they haven't built up corporate credit. There's so many things that happen that all of a sudden now it's an issue. And we kind of always describe that as the wobbly stool, where you're all building a business on a three-legged stool. And if you only put all of your effort into product side, you have one leg. If you put in sales skills, you have two. And then at the end of the day, you have to have that third leg, which is your actual business skills and business experience. And if you don't have that, you've built this wobbly stool that is eventually something's going to happen and tip you over. Yeah. So it's always got to be a focus. And so many of us, I know it's hard to survive that first year or two. And all of our focus goes into just getting through that window, that time frame. And we just don't put the effort into learning what we need to do to build an actual legitimate established business.
Yeah. 100%. And, I know this next question I'm going to ask you, we could talk about for probably 2 hours straight. But I want to respect your time. But I was kind of thinking it would be kind of interesting to kind of touch on, right? Like you mentioned barrier to entry, right? And of course, we're in kind of a turbulent time with rule changes, potential CMS changes that haven't come out yet, FCC changes that have come out that are scheduled to take effect January 1st of next year, right? Talk about how like you think that barrier to entry is going to change in the next year or so.
I think one of the main things in our industry is, as a new agent, you can come in and lean on your FMO. You can lean on your upline for training, for technology, for advice on structuring your business. There's so many things that new agents can access, and even mine. They have access to all of my buildings. They don't have to pay for offices. There's so many things that they get from their upline that if our structure changes, that's going to be out of pocket upfront expenses. Right now, under $1,000, you're in as an insurance agent. There aren't any other businesses out there that you're going to get in under $1,000. The average cost to start a business is over $100,000 if you don't own the building it operates from. And the average business is a year of pre-work and obtaining financing and going and putting a business plan together and pitching it to banks and pitching it to the SBA so you can get funding. We don't have that issue in our world. And if a lot of this legislation comes through, we will. There will be a lot of agents that will not be able to go into the insurance industry because as of now, you can start this on a shoestring budget and actually make a go of it. Whereas most businesses, that is not the case.
Yeah. Yeah. I almost feel like, this is something I've been talking about recently, but like, I think we're going to see a lot more people have to take an LOA route with an established agency to be able to break in. I think it's going to almost become very difficult not to take that route, or start in a captive role or something like that.
If a lot of these changes go through, that will definitely be the case. Because even when they talk about an extra $31 an app, if a producer comes out first year and writes 50 apps or 25 apps, that $31 equates to nothing. It's not going to buy you tools or technology or marketing or give you access to an office. It's not enough to even make a difference. And they won't survive that hard cash flow, or it's going to make people go one of two ways: part-time, and they're going to have to work it on nights and weekends, or they're going to have to come in LOA. But overall, for me, I every time I read through all of the guidelines that are coming up, all I foresee it accomplishing is a lot of inadequately trained agents. And it's really going to hurt our industry overall. And I know there's agents who don't value, maybe they don't have a great relationship with their FMO. But if you're providing, like in ours, where they get all their training, they get marketing, we're on TV every single day because we do pooled marketing. They use our offices. We have so many things that if those agents were to go out on their own and start from scratch, they wouldn't be able to accomplish any of that.
Yeah.
And it really diminishes the team atmosphere, and it's going to hold a lot of people back or put them in a position where the insurance industry is no longer attractive, which is very much what it was back in the 90s. And we would go back to those days.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to kind of see how it develops. I'm hopeful, but I think it's definitely something that everyone needs to be paying attention to. And, all we can do right now is hope for the best and see what happens.
I really do, encourage people to get involved and actually look, what's going on. And there's a lot of us that are on legislative committees and work with our states to try to make it better and hopefully protect our industry. I'm not a fan of a lot of the stuff that's come down the pipe in the last few years, and don't foresee that changing in our current atmosphere. When who's in charge, I think we're going to have a lot more of that to come, and it's a long term. When someone's appointed to that position, it's a pretty permanent situation, and if they have that agenda, that's the direction we're moving in. But when we as agents reply to situations, we also need to be respectful and well-worded, well-rounded business owners that can articulate what is the real situation in Medicare, because to be honest, they don't know. They don't understand what an FMO is or what marketing dollars are, and they don't understand how the majority of agents are working still face to face and the value that we provide. And that's something that we didn't do a very good job in reading through the public comments. We did a terrible job of articulating that to the legislators. And there was a lot of agents that posted things that were downright embarrassing.
Agreed.
And you have to realize too, those comments are read out loud. If you wouldn't say it to your mother and be proud to have it read to your mom's face, don't post it on a public forum to your senator. It gets read out loud. So it was a tough situation. There's a lot of bad comments from agents and even more from medical staff that were really negative towards our industry. And we have a PR problem in our insurance right now. We have a horrible PR problem that we need to work on.
Yep, I agree. I agree with everything you said there. Last question, and then of course, I know you have a million things to do other than talk to me. Savannah, have you been to Savannah before? And if you haven't, okay, I'm sure I figured you probably did. Is there anything in particular about Savannah that you'd say to anybody that hasn't been, you have to see this? Like this is what I look forward to about Savannah.
The shops and the parks and the waterway. It's a beautiful place. I'm going to have curly frizzy hair, so expect that. For some reason, I get anywhere near that place, anywhere near the South. But it's beautiful. Make time. Go in a day early, stay a day late. There's absolutely gorgeous homes there, and the parks are second to none in the South. They have just gorgeous parks down south. So, and good food on top of that. So there's lots to do there. I think it's going to be a fun location. Maybe it's a little harder to get to, but hey, that's having things in different locations gets different agents there. And we'll be able to see some of those friends from the South that we don't always see in Utah and Colorado.
Yes. Yep. That's what I'm excited about too. I think change of the scenery, we'll have a slightly different crowd that we don't get to see as much, and that's always exciting. This video is sponsored by none other than Lead Heroes, you guys. Lead Heroes is going to be your one-stop shop when it comes to your Medicare and final expense needs. People ask me all the time, Christian, what type of lead is going to be the best quality for me to work? And I don't really quite know if the answer is going to be a digital marketing lead, a direct mail lead, or a telemarketed lead, but I can say that a telemarketed lead is going to be up there with the best of them in terms of quality. A telemarketed lead has unique quality to it because there's a live person that actually speaks to the prospective customer and gets their verbal consent that they're interested and willing to speak with a licensed agent just like you. Whether it be a pre-scheduled Medicare appointment with a scope of appointment captured and then scheduled on your calendar 48 hours out, or whether it be a custom calling campaign where you call the shots, where your scripts are used, where it's the areas of your choosing, when it's the times of the day that you're choosing. Custom calling is where you pay by the hour, and essentially it's a custom campaign built to your liking. Lead Heroes has got you covered for all of these unique type of marketing needs for agents. There's a link down in the description of this video about Lead Heroes. You can learn more about these incredibly unique lead generation services, and I think you'll want to check it out today so you can continue to grow and explode your business. Guys, if you want to connect with Jolynn, where's the best place for people to find you, do you think? Where's the best place?
But actually just on the website, just go to AIS Medicare and More and hit contact us. We are always busy. This agency runs nonstop and we're not a big crew. So we will get back to you. You can Facebook message me, but I've got like 10 Facebook pages and sometimes things on Facebook slip through the cracks, but an email is the best way to get in touch with me. And if you've got a specific situation, we always are willing to help. If you want me to run your entire business analysis, that's not something I have time to do. I have a lot of people say, here's my giant, this horrible mess I've made. How do I fix it? Well, that's not a half-hour conversation. So Christian drove all the way to Colorado to sit down and get that advice. So, take that into consideration. I don't have time for everybody's disaster that they've built, but I really am willing to help people and give them the advice. And sometimes I find with being a business owner, the hardest thing that we all deal with is you have to either learn it or hire it,
Yep.
period. Whether it's accounting or financial planning or taxes or sales or customer service, if you don't learn it, you've got to go hire it, because dealing with the government and owning businesses for 20 plus years now, they will never accept ignorance as an excuse. That's
Yep.
never going to be an acceptable answer to the IRS or anyone else. There's rules this year on filing and updating your filings for your LLCs. There's all sorts of things that are out right now. And we really are in a time of a lot of legislation that's pushing business regulation, and not complying will get you in big trouble.
Yep.
So that's some of the stuff that I deal with, and how to show you tools and places to get that information and things as a business owner you should be following. If you're not in our AIS Business Builder group on Facebook, you should join it. I post a lot of that information there on how to establish a business. And if there's something that you don't know, how do you go look it up? So there's resources on there like Duns and Bradstreet, SBA, FMLI, FMLA, all that information's on the site. So you can click on it and at least have a resource that's trusted.
I love it. Guys, we'll link that group also down in the description of this video. So if you guys want to hop in there, we'll put a link to that and also to the website down in the description of this video. So go check that out and make sure that you're connected. Also, guys, get your tickets to the summit. If you haven't got a ticket already, you're going to want to be there. You know, as of today, if not another ticket sells, we'll probably have between speakers and sponsors 230 people there, something like that. So we're expecting to sell out. Get a ticket while you can. We'd love to see you there, and you'll get to learn from Jolynn and everything that she'll be teaching on from stage. So Jolynn, thank you for doing this. I really appreciate your time. I know how busy you are. And I don't take it for granted that you spend the few minutes jumping on here with us. So thank you for your time.
Thanks for having me, Christian. We'll see you in June.
All right, guys, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks, everybody.